Good morning, everybody. It is just about top of the hour here in Central Time. It's about 10 a.m., and I am here to talk Tao of the day. I welcome you guys to step up and pick a number between 1 and 81. I share the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written about 600 BCE. That's the same time that a lot of scholars agree that the Old Testament was written. That's 3,000 years ago, more or less, give or take. And yeah, that was when we really started writing things down, when writing became a thing that was happening. And so as we were moving into the head brain, as we were moving into logic, we started writing things down, and we of course wanted to write down what it was and how it was changing. And I think that as we were moving into the logic brain, Lao Tzu started noticing a lot of things that we were leaving behind, a lot of things that were happening in our brains. We started thinking more, right? And one of the lines in the Tao is "Stop thinking and end your problems," and I agree with that. It is very good. Daryl, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Martin. John, how are you?
I am doing very well. I'm doing very well. It's a nice morning here in the Midwest. Clear skies, and not 100 degrees. So that's something I can be grateful for.
Sounds temperate.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm gonna I'm gonna shoot for 54.
54. Let's look at 54. All right. So, 54 states, whoever is planted in the Tao will not be rooted up. Whoever embraces the Tao will not slip away. Her name will be held in honor from generation to generation. Let the Tao be present in your life and you will become genuine. Let it be present in your family and your family will flourish. Let it be present in your country and your country will be an example to all countries in the world. And let it be present in the universe and the universe will sing. How do I know this is true? By looking inside of myself. And I
Period.
read that, and I
Yeah.
can't, like, I just updated the Wisdom app this morning as well, and I'm like, oh, like, let it be present in your app, right?
Yeah. No, I mean that. I just love how it tied in the outside to the inside, um, and the fact that so much in life is just so like temporary and flimsy. I like to call it. It's all like all these dependencies that are just flimsy and fragile. But I think what you're referring to is something that is very unlimited, permanent, and like strong and centered.
Yeah, I look at that I see this, and a large thing that I've been talking about recently has been this idea of living under the influence and standards, right? Like when we live under the influence of our parents tell us what's right and wrong. And so we immediately have a standard as to what is right and wrong. And the longer we hold on to that, the more we realize that right and wrong are really gray areas. Like everything in life is gray, and the Tao, as we're expressing here, you can't be rooted up. And the moment you have a standard, the moment you have an influence that you're living under, like the moment you strive for something or try and have something that you're trying to attain, that's the moment that you set yourself up to letting yourself down.
Hmm. So ambition is always going to let you down, you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like
Interesting.
ambition as as something that one, like if you have ambition, then you are attached to the outcome of that which you are doing, and you are probably influenced by something external, right? You're influenced. Like, why would you have ambition? Like, what is that going to do for you? Like, what is this achievement going to give you other than a desire to have more achievement? It isn't the end. You are, right? So that's, I mean, that's how I'm seeing it. Please let me know what your thoughts are.
I might be going through a bad spot here on cell towers, but um, I do think that we all have sort of our own callings, right?
Yeah.
And our own gifts.
Yep.
And so for me, I have a hard time thinking that the drive that comes from that is not natural and exactly what we should kind of work toward.
Well, doing your dharma is different than ambition.
Oh, could you explain?
So doing your dharma is you just do, right? You do not have a place to be, right? There is no destination.
Oh, right. Yes. Yes, I agree 100%.
Yeah, so when you do your dharma and you have no destination in mind, there's a big difference between that and being like, I have ambition to have these accolades.
Right. Yeah, I don't ever live that way. Um, yeah, that's interesting. Wow.
So then we look at this, right, as we start to go through this, whoever is planted in the Tao will not be rooted up. You know, if you have ambition and you're like, I want to be, let's say, a CEO, well, then in your mind, you have plotted the path to being a CEO. And if you, let's say, have to at some point take a job as a street sweeper, you might not see that as being part of your plan. And yet, that might be the shortest distance between you and CEO. However, you can't see that because your logical mind is set on, oh, well, I need to make these things. I read all these books and they told me this is the path. And now I have ambition on achieving this thing without really doing my dharma. You missed your dharma because you have desire to be something rather than just be something and see your dharma laid out.
So good. Yeah, I absolutely love that. I don't think of Dharma very often. Um, can you explain what that means to you?
Well, dharma is just you do your work, right? Like your work as like so it's a word that, I mean, Dr. Rao probably has a better explanation of it than I would, but dharma is just you. Like it is the you that gets in the way of, like, if we're talking about ambition. So ambition, once you have ambition as we define it here in the West, in terms of like having a desire for something, like to be something, or to, like, that is getting in the way of you actually being, right? You are using your mind to define that which you are because you see, I'm good at this. But really, being good at something is probably defined by something external from you. Oftentimes we live under the influence of having been complimented and rewarded for things that we do, quote unquote, good. And when you have ambition to continue to invest in that which you believe you are good at, you're missing all of the things that your dharma is trying to show you. Or very often you are, because you're caught up in the concept of good and bad, which don't exist.
Right. So interesting. Wow. How profound this Tao text was. Wow.
Yeah. As we
It's unbelievable.
continue, right? Like, let the Tao be present in your life and you will become genuine. If you have ambition to do something or to be something, can you say that you can always be genuine? Because if you have ambition, that ambition could taint your actions, especially if you believe there is a right way to achieve that which you aspire to.
Right.
Let it be present in your family, and your family will flourish. Like, now we start talking about the idea that there is no end game for my family. Just, we're here to appreciate each other as they are. You know, I don't have to speak to people in a certain way. I don't have to love them in a way that's supposed to be right. I don't have to stay in this relationship if it's not healthy for me. And I don't have to hold grudges, which means that I can continue to love everybody equally, even if it doesn't look the way that everybody else claims it's supposed to look. And that's that ambition, right? I have ambition to have a marriage that lasts forever with great children and all of these things. It's like, okay, well, if that doesn't happen to be the case, well, then how do you do your dharma at that point when that ambition was so far in the way? Now can you live down the quote unquote failure, which isn't a failure? It was only a failure because you expressed a standard, because you expressed something that it wasn't going to be. And here you are, still you, still perfect, still connected to Tao, and yet that chatter is going on in your head, that judgment.
Well, I mean, the thing is you can follow exactly what you're talking about and still end up being CEO.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing like there's nothing like that. If that, of course, but
Yeah.
like, and the whole thing is like, do you want to become CEO in a nice, in a way in which you are at bliss every moment? That doesn't mean you don't get
Right.
unhappy, or that doesn't mean you don't, have to learn things along the way. Or is it going to be tooth and nail, where you are saying this experience is not right? Because how many times do we run across people who say this experience that I am having right now is not right, when it couldn't not be right? It is the
It's
experience you're having.
it's almost like instead of you becoming a CEO, CEO
Right.
becomes you.
You do your dharma, and because your
Yeah.
dharma is to be the CEO. It isn't like there's nothing
Right.
wrong with that. But if you find yourself going along the path of CEO and find yourself going, oh, you know what, this doesn't make me happy. Well, then all of a sudden you start to shift, and maybe instead of looking at being a CEO, you look at being, and then eventually become a CEO. There's a big difference in like steering and allowing yourself to be
That's right.
guided.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let it be
That's so
present.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let it be present in your country, and your country will be an example to all the countries in the world. When we can be here without having to force and manipulate and have, like the United States has an interesting sort of history of like wanting to be the rugged individual and wanting to be like, we have, you know, 50 years of like really controlling so much of the world, right? And being the big brother of the world and stuff. And there's an identity to that, being wealthy, being all of these things. And that identity is something that we, aspire for, right? We want to continue, kicking this can down the road, when it's like, hey, can we take a look at where we are now? Like, we don't even have a really great, like, we don't have a great birth rate. We don't have a great, mortal more like babies dying at birth, mortality
Mortality.
rate, right? We don't have, like, all of these things. We're not great. We're actually lagging behind in quite a few places, but we don't want to give up the ghost, right? And in wanting to hold on to those
Right.
identities is us really having ambition to do something that we're not even really aligned with anymore. What is the dharma of the United States
R-
today? I mean,
Right.
that's
Yeah. I mean,
rhetorical,
when I
but
think of that, I think of like if you say 50 years and here we're on sort of the cusp of, the dropping of its clout, of the country's clout. You look at it in the big perspective, it's just a little peak, it just peaks. And then
just a
that's
peak.
it.
Yep,
And
that's
the
it.
thing
That's it.
is
Like, yeah,
to really be solid, it would be a line of continuous, right? And if that continuousness, was sustainable and like you're talking about here of the universe of the country to be of that, you exist in a more durable, more sustainable high state.
right. Yeah, and when you and that makes you, anti-fragile, right? Like, you don't get
Yeah.
pushed, swayed, and moved because of the tide. The tide changes
Right.
every day. Do you? Because, like,
Right.
the tide, like the ocean's so big, it doesn't even recognize that movement, right? Like we do, because we're so
That's right.
small and we're worried about this moment as compared to the last, rather than just being here now as we are. And even if who I am today and who I am at this moment is not congruent with who I was yesterday or the previous moment, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I like holding on to those influences that we carry, holding on to the influences that make us believe that there is something changing, where everything changes. So let's just be in the moment now and not hold on to the ambition, the the destination.
Well, Martin John, thank you as always. You do a great service to everyone here, and thank you for that.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah. And this piece ends. How do I know it's true? By looking inside myself. And that's where all of the answers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the you know the particle of exactly what you're saying.
Yes. Daryl, thank you so much.
It is. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
My friend Dr. Rao is going to join me. Maybe he can give us a good definition of Dharma. My friend,
Hey,
how are
John.
you doing? How are you?
Yeah, my voice under little strain. So, am I okay? Am I audible for you?
No, yeah, you're perfect. I don't,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So, I will speak slowly because of the strain in the voice, but I know what you mean, what you are trying to explain. I will.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you. Remember this statement, then it will become much easier for everything. Okay.
Yes.
The statement is, "You are what you meditate." Okay. That's
Yes.
one thing. The next part is persona is what you do. Okay, I will explain now. See, human being and personality or ego, they are both the same, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
then the bigger self, which is the soul, which is the Tao, which is the Brahman, and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what we do is we kind of identify with persona or the ego development, and then we think we have to have a goal, we have to have ambition, we have to have pursue all that.
Mm-hmm.
That is where people are divided.
Yeah.
German, for example, this collective persona or the ego was really inflated by Hitler. People have the sense of me, my country, my thing, and all that,
Right.
right? So he kind of used that. Now, current also it's happening now. Okay, most of the time, if the Putin goes and then does war on the Ukraine, or Trump breaks up his, followers to this frenzy of I am great, I am the best, and all. That's what you were telling about earlier too. About that is really what's happening. What United States stood for:
Yes.
accept everybody and then treat everybody equal, cherish the individual freedoms. All that was a more like a, people may say, oh, we are this great, but then in actuality it is not happening. That's what you are pointing it out too. But if you come to the individual level, the individual thinks he is the personality or the ego, the parents, culture, schools, everybody really nurtures. But you have a higher reality you are not touched with. Once you are in that higher reality, dharma becomes duty for the sake of duty, not the agent or agency that is doing the duty. But I'm doing it, but I'm not the ego, I'm the person who is doing it, but I'm called to do it, I'm doing it. So in front of me, I will do it.
Yes. Like it
So
is.
what?
It is. It is a
Yeah,
collaboration that we do with.
yeah. It's a CEO. See, I'm a CEO of this company. I can be very gratified as a personality. Oh, I have this big title. I control so many things. I control the finances, employees, all the services, all the people I serve, and I can be very inflated with pride.
Yes.
That is the personality and ego. We identify with that. When dharma comes, it's like a I am a CEO of a responsible company that wants to deliver services that will help people to realize themselves. So I'm an agent in that sense. I'm like a medium through which this is being done by the divine.
Yes.
Then there is no ambition, there is no ego, there is no personality, there is no identifying and saying, oh, I'm so great, I have these talents and all. You consider these talents as the grace of the divine.
Yeah. And the more we identify with the action,
Yeah, action,
right?
actual action, actor. We think
Ooh, beautiful. Yes. Yes.
that is the problem. Okay, if
Yes. I
you
love that.
if you really say I'm coming to Martin, I'm a friend, I want to talk to him, that's different. But if I come with the air like I am going to teach him, that's
Yes.
the problem.
Yes.
See, where is the
Yeah.
love and where is the energy when I say I am the one who is telling Martin, and Martin is going to, I have this many followers, I
Yeah.
have controlling all this. What is this nonsense?
Yes.
Very true, right? See, the loving chemistry we have is because there is no ego.
Right. And
And
then
we
we
are,
can we can be here just reflecting each other back and
yeah,
saying like
yeah,
I am here presenting
yeah,
just and I don't have to be attached to the relationship.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because who is that getting attached? Who is that saying that I'm doing it? That is the actor. You know, Krishnamurti put this beautifully when he said, it is the observer. That means the conglomeration of things put together as a personality, as a ego, whatever name you use, this observer said, that's all accumulated past knowledge. The
Yeah.
same thing with the countries too. You know, saying, "Oh, we are the bastions of democracy," but then you rule by gunboat, and it is there.
Right.
It's there in all of them. But then I kind of cherish the democratic values that Roman State stood for and wanted to. How this country was formed. You know, we can understand the weaknesses developed over the years, but then it boils down to each individual.
Right.
So,
Right.
there are good terms in Sanskrit for this, Martin. It's called uh, first jiva. Jiva is this personality, this egoic structure, and all that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then jiv atma. That
Jivatma.
they think that I am the superior self, and but still this ego is holding on. The sense of I is still holding on. That's little sense of I, you know. But
Yeah.
real I is the Brahman. Is that
Yes.
that is the one is not touched by any of this.
Right. And that's and if just to kind of go back to that 54 that we were reading, like whoever is planted in the Tao cannot be rooted up. It's like
Yes,
you like when you get rid of that actor,
yes,
then you won't be swayed to and fro. You will have you will
yeah.
be able to be centered. That doesn't mean that
I
that
would
you
say instead of getting rid of the actor, who is that trying to get it up? Again, the part of actor.
yes.
So what it is, establish yourself in the Tao,
Hmm.
establish yourself in the Brahman, establish in that ultimate awareness.
Yeah.
Then meditation in the form of awareness practices becomes you, Brahman.
Right. You are what you meditate.
Yeah, that's it. But what you do is the personality. But
Right.
don't identify with the agencies. This is very explained in the Karma Yoga. You see, that
Hmm.
Arjuna, the warrior, he develops skills, he trains a lifetime to wage this war, right? The war was going on ever since they were kids, you know, with
Yes.
cousins, with the kingdom and all that. Again, the same thing. Here now we are fighting for the small things, like you were talking about how
Mhm.
Americans are oriented to consumerism, little pleasures, and then little pride that we are the best country, whatever illusion that is, you know. And
Yes.
for me, even countries are illusion.
Yes. Absolutely.
Why,
Absolutely.
why should I say that and this? citizen of this world. I will be citizen of all that. So everybody is equal to me. That's kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So what happened was, instead of identifying that conscious being as ourselves, we are identifying with the product of mind that has projected all this agent, ego, and all that. We identify with that, and that is very gratifying for it to feel, I'm so great.
Yes. And we can feel great for a moment,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then we need more, and then
Yeah,
we
but
need more,
but the
and
danger,
that's the hungry ghost.
no, there's a danger going on. Why? Because that kind of sense of agency makes you feel like you are superior and makes
Yes.
you separate from other people and causing all the wars.
Yeah.
Eckhart Tolle exposed this very well. He said,
Hmm.
uh, take that French philosopher, Rene Descartes, he's a good guy, but he said, I have to have a validation of who I am. And
Yes.
he thought, I think, therefore I am.
Hmm.
The thing is, the people who are enlightened, evolved, and all that, they go beyond that.
Hmm.
They establish themselves in the being, in the
Yeah.
awareness, in that ultimate Brahman or Tao, whatever name we give it. That's the
Yes.
same. The force, we can call it force in Star Wars.
Yes.
You know, that force is there, and that force will be with you as long as your persona, your ego is not dominant.
Right.
That is the one, you don't even have to get rid of it. Just be aware of it, that is in operation, observe it, it will fall off.
Hmm.
Actually, they say it will hang itself in shame in front of the Brahman.
Yes.
So,
It's that's a beautiful way of putting it, because, like, when we can meditate, and
yeah,
when we can bring awareness
yes,
to the actor, to that
yeah. See, these
point.
people, what they're thinking is they first establish in the personality,
Yeah.
and then they want to meditate because they have this distracted mind.
Right.
And that's why the distracted mind is very worrisome, very bothersome. No matter how much you have, whatever you achieved, a lot of people have that, right? That's where the
Hmm.
burnout happens. So that means they are doing things thinking that they are the personality.
Right.
But you do it with the personality, but you don't associate yourself with it. That's the problem. Eckhart Tolle pointed out this. Because Rene Descartes said that Western society has immersed itself in the thought, and it has its benefits, but it has tremendous limitations too, because
Right.
it's kind of giving you separate identity, and you are separating yourself from everything else, and that's why the division happened. When there's a division, there's a conflict.
It's funny. I was talking with someone years and years ago. I mean, it had to have been close to 10 years ago. I was just like, Cartesians got it all wrong. Like, your average Joe on the street, like, just whoever is just, still just, and it's not bad, but it's like, anybody and everybody,
Mm, mm,
kind of associates themselves with this Cartesian idea, this
yeah.
Cartesian, like, concept of I think therefore I am, and that gives them this platform to be important.
But if you take any ancient culture, including America, with your
Yeah.
native Indians, they
Hmm.
always identified with the force. They always identified with the nature. You know,
Hmm.
only the modern man in the last 500 years maybe has gone into this separate ego, separate personality as us, and then they have created wars. And then I was telling you about Tolle, Eckhart Tolle, what you said, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Said because of this mistake. See, Rene Descartes stopped one step short. He should have said, I am the being, therefore I am. I'm
That's right.
not thought I am, because thoughts happen and go, but being is always there. See, the problem is the dominance of the thought is so much, people cannot get out of that network. You see, you remember the Matrix movie?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
In the Matrix movie, they show a bigger a super machine is there controlling people, right? But that
Hmm.
bigger super machine is in you, your ego, your personality.
That's
Your
right.
thinking that I am this thought, that's why I am. That is the problem. That's why
Yes.
they said, if you take the Tao or Brahman, it's not somewhere else. It is you, and then everything else is in that too. So then you will not separate from that source, and you do not identify personality or whatever related to that as our identity.
Right.
That's where Rene Descartes has really stopped short, and then as a society, as a world, we are paying because this has spread all over. It's
Mm-hmm.
not even ancient cultures in India also. So I don't know whether you heard me speaking about renaissance of inner life. You know what happened was, there was a discussion. Somebody asked me some question or something, and then they were talking about this renaissance of India at the time of independence. There was a great text written by Aurobindo. He's a yoga master too. He wrote a called Renaissance of India. How it should go? Should it go pursue its spiritual genius, or should follow the Western consumer oriented, external oriented society? You know,
Yeah.
so I'm going to come back. I will finish off in
Please,
a.
yeah, come back up. Come back up. Yeah, I wanna hear that. So please, definitely come back up. Lois, we will get to you shortly if you can stick around. I wanna finish this conversation with Dr. Rao, and we're coming off of number 54, which was picked by Daryl, and we're talking about
So
yeah.
what it was, Martin, I mean, it's easy for us to say now, but actually what happened was India was very close to nature in ancient times,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they always creative within the family. Like somebody has, uh, he's making earthen pots, for example. He has a home industry. He will do it, and he will sell them and make the money for the family and go by that, right? And he taught it to the kids from the childhood, like that. Each one, somebody has woven baskets with wood, bamboo and all that, right? Or somebody had a cow and they made milk and yogurt, and they sold that ghee and all that. They made living on that, like that. They had very small business oriented village culture, but then all villages cared for each other. They worried about this dharma. Dharma, in other words, is they consider dharma is the universal law or righteousness according to which you have to. That means you will speak the truth, you don't steal, you don't cheat anybody, that kind of virtues, right? So there were very little violence, but very little external source of making the external leads more, and internal leads are more important. Okay,
Yeah.
don't. So simple life and higher thinking was the dictum at the time. And Aurobindo was exposing that India has this spiritual heritage. In the past they were like this, and so many thousands of years ago, let us renaissance that. Not with the saying like, oh, this Hinduism good, and he was not saying that at all. He was talking about ancient wisdom that was there even before all these isms are born, and he wanted to renaissance that. But then people are not at the stage, and then the prime minister was also more of a European educated, and he understood. He doesn't really understand this ancient wisdom because he never put time into that. Whereas Gandhi put it that time. He talked about self-realization. He talked about simple life. He talked about everybody doing all that. So he wanted to culture the villages. He wanted to make them, but unfortunately he was assassinated. And then this Nehru and other people who were more lean to this Western way of outward abundance in the fruitness. And
Mm-hmm.
that is sweeping all over. Like, for example, you are really into Tao and you are struggling to understand and live it. But how many people are in par with that? See, that is the thing. Not just this country, any other country. Go to India, you don't find many people are understanding what is this ancient wisdom and what are they doing. So the conclusion is this: there were scriptures, there were so many things there, but lived life according to those principles was not there. And it's very easy to swept away that kind of life when you are really focused on the external things. And this desirelessness that we talk about, that was there because they knew something more extraordinary inside. Like we touch that, we don't have to go anywhere. Even
Right.
I'm talking about the information overload and multitasking and other. I was telling them how our mind need to be trained for that, right? So
Yeah.
it has a rhythm. Life has a rhythm to it. Even if you engage in activity outside, if you understand the structure and really know who you are, and you touch that Brahman or the Tao or whatever you call it, and then that is so. For me, that is what it is. I don't depend on anybody on anything because you have that abundance within you. Everybody has it.
Yes.
That's the thing. You once you touch that, then you will put things. I can work as a CEO, but I don't have to be carried over by the title of the TO. But I can really attach it to the name and fame and everything. All that. That's not it. What it is there's so much suffering. How can I deliver services that can relieve the suffering? And when you're doing it, it's not that I'm great, I'm doing it. It's not that my agency is the one which is doing it. But it is so. You see it and you do it.
Mm, it's beautifully put.
Yeah. All right. I'll let other people come in.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Ryan. It's always great to get a little more, little deeper, and a little bit,
Sure.
just not because I want to think about it, just because I want to,
No,
like
no.
just absorb it.
Grasp it. That's it.
Yes,
Don't think about it. That's the
that's
problem.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
There's nothing here to think about. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Lois, been waiting for a minute. Miss you so much. How are you, my love?
All right, my brother, where you been, man?
Yesterday I was like, no, like I even talked to Andy about it, and she was like, I didn't get an update. I didn't get told you were here. I was on for like 20 minutes and nobody was there. It's like I had like five people in my queue, like not in my queue,
Oh,
but just like in the room. So I was like, well, if nobody wants to hear it, I did number 61 yesterday for myself, and that was it. But
oh,
I don't know. There was an update that I did today. Maybe I was supposed to do the update earlier or something, and it just didn't go out. I don't know.
well, I didn't. I got it when you went in today. I saw that
Good,
you were on
good. Like
today.
I don't know.
I
Like
saw Andy on yesterday, and I was like, I ain't seen Martin John in a minute, man. I
yeah, no.
know.
Like I don't do Dow of the Day on the weekend. Sometimes I'll come on and do some impromptu stuff. I used to work with Paul, and that just fell off. And now it's like I'm coming on doing Dow of the Day, and then I'm kind of getting wrapped up in some other stuff. But like I've noticed that it doesn't always send out announcements. So
And
you know
it's not
we just.
doing. It was used to. And also, you would send out your announcement, and then if somebody that you were following came on the stage, it told you that too. It don't tell you that anymore. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
oh, it does not tell you that anymore. And I missed that part because if I miss you going on your stage, I would normally could catch you talking on somebody else's.
Yeah, and it's just like,
That,
oh, let me hear what they got to say with this person, and then you get to meet new people. You get to see, oh, my buddy Lois is talking to this new person. Let's see how
yeah,
they interact. Oh, they're good people. Let me go follow them.
yeah, exactly. So that's not happening on here anymore. I was like, wait a
I
minute,
did
you
not
know.
know that.
Well, I guess when they upgrade, they gotta get rid of some features, and when they put in some new ones, I don't know. It's kind of
Or
maybe it's
maybe
maybe
they've been
like
getting a lot of,
us.
yeah,
When we,
maybe
when
they're
we,
getting, because I know, like, I get a lot of push notifications. It's
Mhm.
true, but I don't have it on my phone. I have it on my iPad, and when I
Okay.
go out, I don't see nothing. Like if I'm going to cook, my iPad stays in my room, and I just, and so it's like I don't, and then I might kind of flip through and say, oh, look, these people were talking earlier today,
Right.
but I don't. And if there's a topic or a thing that I want to listen to, I'll go and listen to it. But like I don't. And I can understand where people want to be able to be like, I only want to see these notifications from these people, and like be able to control those notifications. Maybe they just cut it off until they can
I'm
figure out how to give us more control of the push notifications we get.
Well, I did not mind knowing when Kristen was talking on somebody else's stage or you or anybody
Yeah.
else I follow because I can get the most of everything. I get you guys in your own room and then I get you guys hopping all over the app.
Well, also it's like, like if I'm sending stuff out, if I like here, I'm on and you're on here. Imagine if someone follows you but doesn't follow me and they see, Lois talks to that Martin John three
Mhm.
times this week. Let me check out what Martin John's got to say.
Yes.
Because my girl
Yeah.
Lois is up there, like she respects this guy, so like let me see what he's doing. And then that's a way for us to continue kind of just, being buddies out here.
Well, and it was also helping support each other and grow somebody because I know that I would go into, I mean, literally, I would purposely go into rooms where the person was new.
Me too.
And if they were saying something that I felt was really good and vibed on a high level, then I would go and join the conversation because when I joined the conversation, people would follow me, and then those
Mm-hmm.
were my followers, and they were like, and I, on the Instagram because they didn't have the little back chat now like they do now. They would say, "Thank you for coming into my room and bringing the people," and
Yeah.
then that's what I liked. I really liked bringing
Yeah,
the
that was
people to the
really
people.
great.
So I don't know what they did, but I meant to talk to Gerald about that when I was talking yesterday, but I forgot. But thanks
Yeah,
for
that's
reminding.
a it's
But
such a it was I remember back in the day, because I mean I'm not on the app as much anymore, but or these days, whether or not that's gonna change or not. But like I remember in the beginning when I was all like hot on wisdom, I would just kind of flip through and I would, oh, I've never seen this person, it's their first talk. Let me go up and
they
like
hide
talk
and
with them. That'll bring some people, that'll get people knowing, and then they'll know me, and then we'll connect and like let's face it, you, myself, Kristen, Dr. Rao, there's a number of people that have really built the community here and built a certain, like I hate to use the word standard, but we have conversations that, are respectful. We have
right,
conversations that aren't just out here yelling at one another and telling people what to do and when we do that, we create the environment for the app
yeah.
and by us being by people being able to know that we're coming on and talking, it gives them agency as to how they want to experience the wisdom app.
Exactly, and like I said, it for us. I mean, for me, doing that, I was able to go and support the new people, and to support people didn't hardly hear,
Yeah,
and the people who I really vibe with. And the thing is, it was helping people also. 'Cause I was told, only because I was told this. It was because they heard me doing jumping around. It gave them permission to jump around before they started their own talks.
that's
So,
right.
so
Yeah,
so that piece is missing, and I think that needs to come back because I think that was valuable because it gave people because some people are sitting in their rooms right now talking to the air, you know.
yeah. Well,
So
we did that though, but I'm not trying to say that but we can change that. Like
yeah, we
if
can
if
change
we
that. That's what I'm
yeah,
talking about. We can change that because I feel this is Lois. I feel that everybody's story is valid, no matter where level of growth they're at, because
absolutely.
somebody there that can get some food from whoever it is.
That's right. Nourishment. And that's what
There,
the Tao talks about,
yeah,
like
just
being
nourish.
nourished.
Yes. So when so I don't know. I don't. I guess I like to make a difference, and
Yeah,
I
you and me both.
okay. And it's like whoa. So I can't jump in everybody's room, but if I jumped in one or two back then, there were other people who would come in, and then they would add their piece, and then next you know the people are feeling confident, and then they talk more and they do more, and I don't know.
Yeah. I
So
I let's pick a number and like
okay,
let's see how we can inspire more people.
okay, let's go with 31.
31. Weapons are terrible things. If you want to get right with the Tao, reject weapons. The master, knowing that all things come from Tao, he recognizes what he has in common with his enemies. But when there is no choice, he uses force reluctantly. He does so with great restraint and never celebrates a victory. To do so would be to rejoice in killing. A person who would rejoice in killing has lost completely
Yes.
with Tao, is lost touch completely with Tao. When you win a war, you preside over a funeral. Pay your respects to the dead.
Amen. I like that. I like that. We gonna start with the peace pipe.
Well, let me ask you, what's going on in your life right? What are you saying goodbye to in your life right now?
I'm saying goodbye to things that no longer serve me in a way in which they didn't once upon a time. You know
Yeah.
that maybe there's some food substances, that
Yeah.
is some activities that I was doing that they were positive, but I found some that were better.
Well, and then so let's look at that in terms of what we're looking at here, right? Like you don't rejoice in getting rid of those things that once served you, that once were good.
Hmm.
You're not like you're not at war with those things, right? They're not addictions. You're not at war with them. You're not holding on to them. They're not standards in your life. And yet you are able to let them go. And you can do that with grace. And you can do that with respect to that. Right, what does it say here? He does, when you have to use force and like get rid of something in your life, doesn't even sound like you're using force. But
Don't
if it were an addiction, or if it were something in which you would have to use force, you would do so reluctantly, because he does so with great restraint and
and
never
I
celebrates victory.
that was okay. Recently, just to give an example.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, within the last couple of months, I went out and doing my dancing like I normally do, and
Mm-hmm.
this stranger walked up to me and says some vile things and touched me.
Okay.
Okay, now uh I had to ask them three times because I was in my vibe of dancing and I was in that otherworldly place. So I'm like,
Yeah.
excuse me? And they said it again, and I figure well, maybe I didn't understand them clearly because they got an accent.
Mm.
They said it the third time. The warrior came up. It was like warrior. He was saying warrior, come out and play, because he
Mm-hmm.
said and touched me. Okay, so the warrior came up, and he got chewed up a little bit and spit out, and he walked away with his head down. Now, other times when I was younger, I would have felt accomplished in cutting his head off, like this.
Yes.
Okay, but this time I felt some type of way because I'm like, where the f did that come from? Wow, whoa! And it was with such force and I was like, man, I hadn't seen Xena. Xena hadn't come up out of Lois in over 20 years.
I
Okay,
remember you talking to me about this a couple months ago.
yeah, so when it came up, I did not feel good about it. I did not feel good
Yeah.
about it because to me that was an ugly side. That's what.
And as we look at this number 31, the first lines are weapons are a terrible thing. If you want to get right with Tao, reject weapons. And, like one of your weapons is Xena,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
the
One
master,
of my
knowing
weapons
that.
is, I'm gonna say this. I want Let's get real. One of my weapons is my mouth. I could either weaponize it or
That's right.
or I could angelify it. Okay.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And that was a
Mm-hmm.
weapon. That part of my using my words to weaponize my words. Listen, it's not status quo. Okay, it's not
Right.
status quo, and it didn't feel good. Uh, and so as I, per- you know, thought about everything. No, I didn't feel good about it, but I knew it was necessary. And then
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking, what the hell did he have to go through that made him feel like he could do this or he should do this? Or is this A-okay? I really feel bad for that person because eventually, if he keeps doing what he did, like to me, I had restraint. I had
Right.
restraint. I don't think the other people that I talked to that night said they wouldn't have had restraint and
Right.
patted on their little handbag like something was in there. Now I didn't say
Mm-hmm.
PC because it ain't my business.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, because it was witnessed, it
Yeah.
was, and then that made me feel. But then again, it also sent a message to other people because it was talked about.
Right.
So you
And
don't.
that's what we're looking at here. So the master, knowing that all things come from the Tao, even this person, right,
Yeah,
recognizes what he has in common with his enemies. But when there is no other choice, he uses force reluctantly.
yeah,
He
and
does so with great restraint and
mm,
never celebrates victory. You're not going to dance on his wounded ego. You're
no,
not going to,
no, I
no.
felt bad about it because I shamed
Yeah,
him, and who wants to be shamed, man?
that's right.
He messed up. Yeah, he messed up. I get that, but I shamed the poor man. You
Yeah.
know. Now I've been told several things about this thing because it's, as you can tell, it's still bringing up something. So I'm still
Hmm.
ho'oponopono in this shit. Okay,
Yeah.
because that's not the vibe that I want to set. But I also know that I can't. It just ain't a hunky dory lifestyle where everything is rainbows and unicorns. Okay,
Hmm.
sometimes you got to dip in order to come back.
That's right. That's right.
And to recalibrate. And the thing is that for me, it's like how fast can you recalibrate? How fast can you get back to that status, to that your status quo, wherever that is, wherever your balance line is?
Yeah, and you
Because
don't
everybody,
celebrate. You don't celebrate in shaming him. You
I
know that you
know,
did that. You did it reluctantly, and you know if you were to rejoice in that shaming of him, you would have lost touch with the Tao. So when
I
you win a war, you preside over a funeral.
there it is,
Put your respect to the dead.
there it is, right there. So yeah, I like I said, I knew I when you said, I was like, oh shoot, that happened.
Yeah.
That happened. Okay, so and then like you said, when we don't think well, one, I don't think weapons are necessary. I think we are the weapon.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I believe because all the protection I need, everything I need is within me. And
Yes.
at in that moment in time with that particular person, it all came back up and it came to memory. Uh-oh.
Oh, you dropped down. So if you wanted to come back and wrap that up, I would love for you to do so. Yeah, here she comes. Lois, it's always so great to just hang out with you in the mornings.
Yeah, so and the thing is that when you are the warrior and you have to bring that part of you up, that you're very reluctant to do that. But now that I know that when Xena comes up, she comes up with compassion, she comes up with grace, but
Yeah,
she also comes out with force.
that's right. That's right.
Okay.
And, like it says, like, when there is no other choice, to use his force reluctantly
Hmm.
and with great restraint. Like,
Yeah.
those are the things, like, okay, this motherfucker's asking for it. I'll give it to him, but I'm
Well,
only going to
that's
give
why
him
I asked
enough to
three
get him off.
times.
What's that?
That's why I asked three times to make
That's
sure
right. You just
I
say, all
heard it
right.
right. I'm thinking, no, he didn't
Don't,
retract the words. He
don't,
did not retract it. He could have
no.
said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Lady. Did I mean it?"
That's right.
But no, he.
No. You want to
So
stand your ground? All right.
okay.
I'll give you. I give you one. I give you 3 seconds to move towards the door, son. Like you just step
Okay.
away. Because if you
Yeah. So.
don't, like, don't take my kindness for weakness. I cut a bitch. Like straight the fuck up. Like
Okay.
ain't
So,
no ain't no
what's the
joke.
rest? You're so funny.
Ain't no joke.
So what's the rest of it? What's
That's
that?
it. When
That
you
was the last one.
win a war, you preside over a funeral.
Okay.
Pay
All right.
your respect to the dead.
All right. Okay. So yes,
Yes.
yes, and that was good. Thank you very much, Martin. I miss you so much. I don't want to get off of here. I want to talk about something else. Let's pick another number. No, I'm just joking. Go ahead and get to your next
Well,
person. But I
there
love
ain't
you.
nobody in line, but
Oh,
I am gonna
you pick a number.
me pick a number. All
You
right.
pick a number. Let's talk about your number.
Let's talk about the 14 just popped out at me. Have I picked 14 recently? I don't know. Look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Reach, and it can't be grasped. Above it isn't bright, below it isn't dark, seamless, unnamable. It returns to the realm of nothing, form that includes all forms, image without an image, subtle, beyond all conception. Approach it. There is no beginning, follow it, and there is no end. You can't know it, but you can be it at ease in your own life. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I I'm always I always want to feel safe. I always want to feel safe, financially and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And those are things that, like sometimes escape me. Like I don't know how to make all this make money and whatnot, and recently I've been able to like let go of a lot more of that and just be like, well, we'll see what happens, and just kind of like do stuff. And as not a couple weeks ago, I started just getting rid of things that didn't serve me anymore. I was part of this men's ESN group, emotional support network, and I had to step away from it because I thought about it differently. And then I was like, like I was getting rid of things. And as
Right.
I was getting rid of things, I was just finding myself empty handed. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do now. And then all of a sudden things started to come in. Like once I opened myself up to just the unknown, it
Yes.
started just, like once you create a void in your life, something that you get rid of, like it gets filled. And today I even texted Andy this morning. I didn't sleep real well last night. And
Hmm.
and this morning I texted her, I said, I don't think I'm gonna do much today. And she responded, good. And I do think that that's good. It's not like I'm not gonna do anything. It's just like I'm just gonna be here today. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
whatever my dharma is. I'm gonna just be doing whatever gets done, and I'm not gonna hold on or attach myself to it. You
Yes.
know, as
That,
this,
that that's what all the breaking routine for me was about
yeah,
releasing things and things that I thought I needed or had to do whatever for whatever reason, whatever belief I had behind those different things that I did on a regular basis. As a
yeah,
matter of my routine. I had to, and I was told, like I told you before, I had to break routine. And then when I broke routine, so I'm like, oh, what am I to do?
right.
Not to do. But then I was given this in my spirit when I broke routine. Now you have broke routine to move some things away so that you can make room for those things you've asked for.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I'm thinking, And then here we start with look, it can't be seen, listen, it can't be heard, reach, it can't be grasped. Just do your dharma, right? Just do the thing that
Be.
you're gonna do. Just wait until the action arises on its own. Don't
Yes.
don't go out there trying, like Daryl came on earlier and we talked about ambition, and he was like, "Is all ambition bad?" And I said, "Well, yeah." Because as soon as you have ambition, you have a goal, you attach yourself to some outcome. It's
Hmm.
best just to sit back and let it happen because you'll be all right. Like every
Well,
time you're going to
if
be
you're
all right.
sitting back in the right vibration, you'll be all right.
Yeah,
But
if
if
you're sitting back,
you're
like
worried,
got your
concerned,
chin,
and
you got
all
your
that,
chin in your chest, and you can't get
yes.
anything off of it, well then yeah, of course. But if you can sit back and not and that's the thing. We can say the same thing. You can surrender
Hmm.
or you can surrender. You know what I mean? And there's a difference. You can sit back or you can sit back. Like you could
I'm
you
like
could
this.
escape.
I surrender and I allow. That's what
Yes.
I do. I sur-
Rather than surrender to the fact that everything's miserable, you
yeah.
surrender to everything and just let it be what it is. And you sit back and let it all be without having to define it at all. Because here it's like above it isn't bright, below it isn't dark, seamless
No,
and unnameable. It returns to the realm of what? Of nothing.
of nothing. That's right. And the thing is, it's all about what keeps stuff in our vibration and all that is the adjectives that we attach to it and the feelings that we
Yes.
think that we're supposed to have about it because that's what they say.
Right.
You know,
Right.
'cause I know my grief
Bright,
is totally
dark,
different.
light, bad, good,
Yes, good, bad.
all of these things.
And whenever you say good, something's got to happen that's going to be bad. Oh,
Something has to,
that was a
right,
good
because
old sandwich. So you're
we
going to have a bad
have,
sandwich.
that's right.
You
That's
know,
right. We all have, like, once we create something, the
mhm,
opposite was created.
it's created, right? So if you just realize that things just are as is, no adjective attached,
That's right.
you tend to be able to go with the flow much easier because since you've attached no adjective, it's not sticking with you. You
That's
didn't make
right.
it yours.
There's
by
no
by
way of, yeah.
qualifying when you put labels on stuff, you qualify it and you categorize it. And then why did you categorize it? Because you're putting it in your repertoire. When you don't
Mm-hmm.
categorize it and don't adjectify it,
That's right.
if you don't put no adjective on it, you don't, that thing is not held by you. The
Right.
minute you put them adjective and that emotion on that, that is in you, and it's going to draw more of that, whatever it is. So
Mm-hmm.
my whole thing is just learn how to recognize that things just are. It wasn't a bad divorce. It wasn't a good sandwich. It was a sandwich and it nourished you. You
That's it. Yeah.
and when I started coming from things like that, I found that I was not emotionally pulled to the left and to the right so much till I felt bipolar. And I'm saying that and loosely, so don't anybody who
Yeah.
suffers from bipolar disorder, I'm loosely saying that at being having been a therapist. Okay, it was like I would go from one extreme of the pole to the other because everything is on a two-edged sword. It's either
Right.
a surgical knife on one end and that cuts you really nice and gently and heals really good, or it's a doggone serrated butcher knife or whatever that thing is that a saw, a hacksaw, okay, or
Right.
whatever that just tears through whatever it is. So we get to choose which way we look at things. And I choose to look at things as they just are. When I say they just are, I know that everything happens for a reason and everything happens in its season. And I just
Mm-hmm.
let it flow and allow it. Okay. Sometimes I have to surrender to some things that I want to fight against, you know. But when I learned that, when I just said, okay, that just happened, and I'll do like that just happened, and
Yeah.
I'll ho'oponopono it, I'd say my little 4 lines, I love you, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And then that's gone. I let that go. And if it comes back in my mind, I let it go again. And I allow myself that peace.
Yes.
Because I know I deserve that peace. I'm like, I deserve the peace. I deserve the love. I deserve the compassion. I deserve all that stuff. So I give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like this. This is good, Martin.
This is
I ain't
good.
talked to you in so long. I love you, Martin. It's like
I love you.
I told you,
I
my
know
brother.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
And
yeah.
as this, like one of the interesting things is this, as approach it, and there is no beginning. Like there are often times, when we wake up, when we awaken
Hmm.
to all of this us in the
Right.
world. Approach it, and there is no beginning. You look back as to the point in which you awoken, and you
Hmm.
realize that you were awake the whole time.
Hmm.
You just decided to not be aware of it.
Right.
You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
follow it, and there is no end. Like as you live your life, you just keep seeing more and more and more ahead of you, and it's never going to end because you are greater than you can be within your body.
Yeah. And the thing is, as I let it be and do whatever, I recognize that, and as we flow, that I'm part of that grass out there. I'm part of that tree out there. I,
Yeah.
and everything flows together. All this imagination that we are separate from everything and that we are individual. I'm gonna say it like that because
Yeah.
you know, that is not even, that's the illusion. We are collective. We are all part of the same energy with everything that we see, touch, hear, smell, and everything. And once we realize that, we go, it's on and on and on, because you walk outside having that knowledge now, you see the rocks on the ground. Oh, I'm part of these rocks. Wow, boy, that's a whole nother ecosystem with the rocks by themselves. I'm part of this tree. Wow, that's a whole nother and you can just flow with it. To me, for me, and I marvel in all of it. Me, I'm like a little kid sometimes, but I marvel in all of it because I come to the thing that God made it all. That the Tao is all, love is all there is, and as we recognize that there is no different colors or races and all that kind of stuff.
That's
We
right.
are all individual love light beings given an avatar body that just came in different shades and sizes and colors. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But at our core, we are the same. That so that when I am hollering at somebody else, I am hollering at me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And
And
this is where these final
yes.
lines come from. You
Mm,
can't know it, but you can be it at
yeah.
ease in your own life. You can't know that you're at ease in your life, because if you did, you would be missing the point, and you would just be looking at the surface. But you
Yes.
can be at ease in your own life when you know that you are here and you are yelling at yourself. And
Yes.
then just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom.
Hmm. That and that we are our brothers' keepers because we are the brothers are us.
That's right. That's
Like
right.
when
We
the
just
Toys R Us, our brothers are us, our sisters
That's
are
right.
us. We're part of the same body from the same. Like I said, that same love light energy is at our core, and we're all a part of the same body.
You know,
And go
I
ahead.
have a woman reaching out to me on Facebook talking about her overweight son and some other things, and I was just like, we should have a talk because you are the thing that's, like hurting. And if
Yes.
you can take care of yourself, then you're going to take care of your son
Hmm.
without your son having to change anything.
Exactly. There it is, right there.
Like, can we
Right.
can we can we can we look at the real problem here within
Oh,
your
that's what I
life
asked you.
rather than like yeah, he might have a problem, but why is it your problem?
Hmm. My question, Martin, when are you doing another one of your workshops? And then how much
Oh,
do you charge for these things? Because I want to support you.
I do. So I actually, because it's been so difficult, I made my workshop a digital product that is now available on my site, and so yeah, it's 147. I was doing workshops a lot less expensive than that, but they just they didn't hit, and so many people have benefited from them that I wanted to keep it out there, and I want to keep pushing it out. I may do another live one at some point, but right now I'm just trying to push out the digital video.
Okay. All right. All right. I had to get you to plug yourself too.
Oh, thank you, girl. I appreciate that.
Because I'm running out of time, but I love you, and I will look at your website and see. But I wanted to get the whole experience of what you
It's
call
a good experience. It's a good
uh,
experience. I'll tell you what.
no, what you live.
Lois, thank you so much. I really appreciate your love and your support always. Yeah, so as the Recover Yourself workshop is now available on my website as a digital product, you will have lifetime access to that. It's a 2-hour workshop, a little over 2 hours. You can gain access to that on my workshop page. It is also in my my link tree. So if you go to the link in my profile, you'll be able to see that work. I host the Recover Yourself workshop or the Recover Yourself podcast as well. If you follow me on Martin John on Instagram, you'll be able to find all of my work there as well. Once again, I'm Martin John. I will accept any tips or financial support if you benefit from the work that I do. I would appreciate that. You can Venmo me at martinjohn_Garcia. Thank you so much, and until next time, keep recovering yourself.